He was like, I'm about to unfollow you. I was like, and then boom, I posted on Instagram. I got Nick Briz and Devontae's attention.
Look, got feelings, oh feelings, my demons, they chillin', they playing the victim, but really they villains. The drugs always healing, they numb up my feelings. I got to the back cause I'm focused on winning. This pain in my heart is the reason I'm sinning.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Centerfold Podcast, episode 34. I'm your host, as always, Andres Smith, and of course, I'm joined by my co-host, Team Features. And today we're here back with another special guest. How would you like to introduce yourself as? Go ahead.
I'm Chris with the wrist, also known as Chris Bayless, Chris Kellerman. Basically, you're a park basketball analyst. You need your news, I got it. You need your statistics on anything, I got it. I am the guy to go to.
Awesome. Welcome to the show.
Yep. And for all you guys watching, make sure to check us out on Spotify,
Yes.
Follow my Insta at Kim Features. Follow the podcast at _Centerfold Podcast. Follow him at Drahan with 3 E's. Anything else we need to say?
TikTok. We're on TikTok too.
Oh, yeah, we are on TikTok. Follow the TikTok. You want to shout yourself out real quick? You want to give your little Insta?
Insta is Chris with the wrist, Chris with _the wrist. My Snapchat, I don't really use, so you don't gotta worry about that.
We ain't gonna get into all that. We ain't gonna get into all that yet. But,
Exclusive content.
You gotta give yourself a quick little intro. But so, Pete, you're the park analyst. People go to you.
Right.
How old are you first?
2030.
20. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. I already know who this is. We talk like basically every day. I know who this is. This is like you guys' first time meeting. So give a little backstory. Like, what got you into park basketball?
So originally, my content started in 2019. I started playing basketball IRL as like my content. Then I kind of like dabbled in like other things such as making like skits and making like completely off the wall stuff rather than like finding a niche that I had to like continue. So like throughout 2019 and throughout all the way until the end of 2020 is when I was completely lost in my content. You'll find basketball videos, then you'll find skits, then you'll find vlogs, then you'll find challenges. It's like, it was kind of like all over the place. So like if anybody were to ask me, how do you describe your content? I couldn't have gave them an answer at the time. So you fast forward to the end of 2020, I was pushing towards trying to get in contact with Devontae Frigga at the time. This was when he was like on the rise of like going hundreds and thousands of subscribers up into like his brand. Was kind of contacting him through Twitter. That was like the year that I actually made a Twitter. I never had a Twitter before until the time period where I knew about Devontae. So once I made the Twitter, that was like what my sole purpose was to use that for, was to get in contact with Devontae Frigga. Finally got in contact with him. We were chopping it up a little bit between DMs on Twitter only, no other platform other than that. I made a video on YouTube called Dear Devontae Frigga, because he was at the time doing videos called Dear fill in the blank with a basketball content creator, and that would be a series. So I was like, why don't I do a Dear Devontae Frigga? Nobody's done a Dear Devontae Frigga, so that'll catch his eye, which it did. He ended up commenting on it, and he was like, yo, hope we can like work together one day. And I was like, he's probably just saying that to like give me a little bit of motivation. So more texts are like exchanged between us on that platform, and then he starts a growth course program, right? So the growth course program was basically for people that like wanted to grow their brand on whatever platform it was, whether it was TikTok, whether it was Instagram, or whether it was YouTube. I wanted to use that opportunity to grow my YouTube because, my whole life I wanted to be in entertainment somewhere or another. And like YouTube was kind of like that outlet for me because I was able to like do what I want. I could be my own boss to try and like build my brand how I wanted it to, rather than going through a corporation and kind of like going with the system that was already made. So the growth program, I was like spamming him. I was like, bro, like, let me join the growth program, please, 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 please. I was simping for Devontae for that. So he finally sent me an email and was like, hey, what's up? Congratulations. I'm putting you in the course program. I will be giving out my personal number throughout the week. So stay tuned for that. Make sure that you give me your number so that way I can text you on my personal number. That way you can save and have it. Makes sense. So I think it was like 3 days later when I did get, a text from him saying like, hey, yo, it's Frigga, you're Chris Hansen, the man, the myth, the legend. He was kind of like, gassing me up a little bit. So I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I just remember at that moment, like, it got like real emotional for me because I was like, bro, like from 2019, not being able to find my direction, even throughout the majority of 2020, it was kind of like, damn, like I finally got this moment. Like, people would like do anything to try and get like this opportunity with them. So like during that time where I was doing the course, the growth course with them, I had a notebook. I have this notebook right here. I kind of like, it's used for like another purpose. Like it's called the Book of Facts. So
I know about the Book of Facts.
Called the Book of Facts. So
what's in the Book of Facts?
The Book of Facts at first, so I'll give you the origin story at the same time as I'm giving my origin story. So the Book of Facts at first was a blank green notebook, no title, no nothing. It was all my tips and tricks that I learned from Devontae to try and grow. Because the growth program was for me to solely grow my brand. So all facts on how to grow your brand are also in the Book of Facts as well. Remember, it's the Book of Facts. It has facts only. It's not limited to just facts about one specific thing. So that's solely what the Book of Facts was for at first. No title at first. So I jotted down every single thing that he had told me how to grow your brand properly. And
do you think that helped at all? Like the program, did it actually help?
Yeah, it got me to where I'm at today.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah. So he basically, anything that he told me, it was all information that I needed to retain. Because if I didn't retain any of this information, I would have been able to get to where I'm at, but it wouldn't have been in the process that I'm doing it at now. It would have probably been a slower process. I may have not gotten the interviews I've gotten or gotten to the park takeovers I've gotten. It would have probably been a little bit more difficult, but with him giving me that information is what made me excel in my brand. So I was still doing IRL basketball content at the time because this is around January. He had stopped the course, right? Because he kind of said, oh, I'm working on a few things and I'm going to take a break from my content. There was a month time span where he wasn't posting anything. He was kind of revamping his content to try and push out something crazy. And he was gone from January to mid-February. And that's when he joined the Ball is East Coast squad. And that was when I was like, oh, wow. Now he's joining Ball is Life, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, place for basketball.
Yep.
That was the next time I saw him. I didn't talk to him, didn't really have contact with him like that for an entire January to mid-February time span. When I saw him again, we had chopped it up a little bit and he was like, yo, I'm so proud of you. You hit 1K, because I was at 1K at the time this year during mid-February. It was the Hyde Park run, the very first run that the East Coast squad did in Tampa, Florida. We were there. He was like, congratulations on your 1K. Be a part of my podcast, because at the time he had this podcast called Off the Court, which never really got off the ground. He doesn't even do it anymore to this day. So he was like, be a guest on my podcast, get you more exposure, because you have seen you've grown, and I'm really proud of you. I was like, thank you, good. So during this time period, I was working at a job. I was a assistant manager at this company called Leslie's Pool. I was making decent amount of money, so that way I can live on my own. I have to worry about bills. I always had money in my pocket. That night of the Hyde Park run, the East Coast squad's first run, I thought I was going to blow up that night. I was like, you know what? There's no point in having a job. I can't miss out this opportunity. I have to be there. So I quit my job. I quit my job.
Hey, I'm trying to get you to do that, bro.
Okay, well, calm down. Calm down first. Eventually, not yet.
So I had quit my job that day. My dad was pissed because he was like, bro, I helped you get the job. What the fuck is wrong with you? All this, that, the third. He was just he was so pissed at me for doing that. But I was telling him, I was like, you got to understand, this is my passion. This is my love. You should understand that if I was willing to drop my job that was paying me a decent amount of money, I was going to be financially straight to actually pursue my dream. Nobody should really question my passion towards what it is I do right now. So was it a huge mistake? I think it was the most Dumbest thing I've done this year, because it actually put me in a little bit of a financial hole for like a few months. I'm back. I'm fine now. I have a different job. I'm good. So during that time period, like, I was like, what am I going to do to actually get noticed? I was like, how am I going to get Ball is Life to notice me? Like, I've always dreamed about being a part of Ball is Life. How am I going to be part of Ball is Life? How am I going to get their attention? I was like, you know what? Stephen A. Smith is really, really popular. Max Kellerman is really popular. Shannon Sharp. Why don't I just fusion together all those guys into like my own unique style? And then my first video that I did for my niche, which is being a park basketball analyst, was when Devontae and Nick Brizz's beef first started. So when that first started, I was like, you know what? I got an idea. So I made a trailer, right? I think I spent like about a day or two on that trailer. I was trying to make like at least a minute to a minute 30 of like a trailer of like them just beefing, them exchanging words of like the shit they said over like the internet and stuff like that. Created it, and then boom, I posted it on Instagram. I got Nick Briz and Devontae's attention that day. So then
the same day?
Yeah, both of them on the same day. I still have I have proof, and I'll send you the screenshot so that way you can like put in like this part.
Okay.
Nick Briz commented, and then Devontae commented. Devontae wasn't a fan of it in the beginning because what he said, he texted me personally because I still had his personal number at the time. He was like, I love what you're doing, but please keep my text out of it. Me and Nick are cool. And I was like, so this is fake. It's like, hold on. Is this beef really real? So then I was like, you know what? Like, should I continue this? Because I was like, I just got both of y'all's attention. And that video did over 1K at the time. That was a lot of numbers to me at the time. Yeah. Going over 1K. That was my first video ever that hit over 1K. No, actually, no. It was my second video, because my first video was, a video that wasn't a part of my niche. So
the Marvel video?
Huh?
The Marvel video with the superheroes you was doing?
Yeah.
I did some research. Don't worry about it.
So that was my second video, and I was like, wow, that video did really good. Like, I think I should continue this. So then I did another one, and I did another one. I continued to do it. At first, in the beginning, I was really cool with the East Coast squad. I was in a group chat with them. I was talking to all the players.
That detail. How'd you get in a group chat with the boss on the East Coast squad?
So I think it was like the second or third run that the East Coast squad did, where they were like, hey, we're thinking about having like a creators group chat, to where if people have like platforms to where like they're promoting any type of content, you can be a part of our group chat. We like show ideas and this, that, the third. Like, it wasn't just me and then all the East Coast players. It was like a little collection of like people that did content. Some of them ain't do shit. Some of them were just like, oh, I'm in the group chat, and they never said a word in that group chat.
Okay.
So it was mainly me in the group chat throwing out ideas and this, that, the third. I would always talk to Scotty a little bit and be like, yo, we should have this idea, or like, to have more involvement in the group chat. Why don't we think of like topics to talk about? And, I would at the time post stories where I'm like, who's a better shooter, Austin or Zach? Or who would win in a dunk contest, Slim or Duke? Like, I would always post that on my stories. I would always post it in the group chat to try to get involvement. Let me see how I can engage with the community a little bit. Scotty really fucked with it, and all the East Coast players really messed with it. And I was doing breakdowns. I did my other video right after the Nick Briz versus Devontae video was Slim Reaper's the best player in the East Coast squad, and that got a lot of traction. Slim ended up posting it. Me and Slim were cool before he even joined the East Coast squad, so I knew him before that. That got a lot of traction. East Coast reposted it, and then I was still doing like breakdowns of like each player on the East Coast squad. I didn't know about the West Coast squad at the time. So once I found out about the West Coast squad, I dropped a video called East versus West. I was like, who's the better squad, the East Coast or the West Coast? So I broke down both teams, gave down like, what this player's rating would be in shooting, defense, athleticism, and everything. It's like almost a 30-minute video of like all the players being broken down.
Okay.
So if you guys want to check that out, you can.
Okay, yes, yeah, plug that stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So after I did that, something weird had happened. So there was a situation where I found out some information that made the Ball is Life brand look a little shady. And, you know, I was kind of like, this is weird. But I was like,
what was the information?
So at the time, Nick Briz went to the cage after Ballers Life East Coast went to the cage in Flamingo Park, Florida. I found out some information that, you know, Ballers Life had, like, you know, wanted things done a certain way, and they wanted their video done a certain way. So the opposing team had to play a certain way. Allegedly, that's what that was said.
Allegedly, that word. Okay.
Allegedly, that was what was said. The person that gave me that information was the guy who ran the cage. He came to me and tried to explain that information. So on top of that, there was a former West Coast player, goes by the name of Courtney Holloway, that used to be with the West Coast squad.
Yep.
He had left the West Coast squad because he felt like he wasn't being treated right. You know, there were certain players that he thought were acting hella fake. He felt like he wasn't getting the right promotion. So he just, you know, completely blew up and was like, you know, completely said, you know, forget the West Coast squad. You know, I'm doing my own thing. You know, I don't really care about them. This, that's third. I hopped on an IG live with him to try and get a little bit more insight. So, you know, I talked to them before that through DMs, and I was like, hey, you know, like, what's been going on, you know, on the news channel. So is it like okay for me to actually like get the scoop on like what's going on? He was like, yeah, you have complete authority to like do what you want with the information that I give you. I was like, okay, cool. And, you know, time went by. It was like an hour or two later, he hops on Instagram live, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what to do. So I requested to join. Once I requested to join, you know, he had accepted it. I had joined in, and then he gave a full breakdown. I think I had like a 45-minute screen recording, but I didn't know that for some odd reason, if I screen record an IG live that I'm in, it mutes the entire audio. So that point was actually like, I was like, damn. I have a whole 45-minute screen recording of no audio. So like, what did I have to do? I had to commentate over it to like let people know what IB was talking about. So once he gave the whole spiel or whatever, the Balls Life East Coast squad, the main page of the East Coast squad joined. And, you know, at first he was like, follow Chris, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, as like the conversation continued and I was like trying to like understand Court's story on why he left, you know, I kind of was like, well, damn, like, I mean, yeah, if I was in your shoes, I'd feel the same way. Because, you know, you can't understand somebody unless you put yourself in their shoes. So after that, not unfollow. I leave the live. I text the East Coast squad because I still think I'm cool with them at the time. So I'm like, yo, like, it's about time you followed me back, because like the East Coast squad finally followed me back. And then, you know, Scotty, who runs the East Coast page, he was like, I'm about to unfollow you. I was like,
what? What's up?
Yeah, I was confused. I was like, well, what was going on? So, you know, I was like, there must be something fishy. You must have had something to do with like, you know, the cause of like a player from Ballers Life team to leave. You know, it seemed a little fishy. That night that he unfollowed me, he disbanded the entire group chat.
Okay, that's night. A little extra.
Right. So like if a former player, well, now a former player at the time leaves, and then all of a sudden you disband the group chat, you tell me you're gonna unfollow me, and then like you drop contact with me completely. There's something going on. I wanted answers. So I tried to do a little bit of researching, try to get a little bit more insight. I dropped a video called What Truly Happened in the Cage with Nick Briz and Ballers Life. Completely like I guess you could say at the time I was completely like damn near bashing their name. I was like, you know, Ballers Life is fake, this, that, the third. There was a post that was made where like, you know, allegedly they had went to a park in Copeland, and this guy, he's like a YouTube boxer content creator called Dean the Great. He shows up at Copeland Park as well for an event, and he's going to do a boxing event. While the Balls Life East Coast squad is running their own event, on the other side of the court, a boxing event is going on. So it's like two things are happening at once. I'm like, you know, I can watch you guys play basketball at any time, but Dean the Great, you know, he doesn't just show up anywhere. So we ran over there, we watched the fights or whatever, and it got crazy. Dean completely took that park run over. The crowd literally shifted from one side of the court to the other side of the court, because where Dean held the boxing event was in the hood. So it was like, people are going to go to the fighting more than they are going to go to the basketball, because the fighting's more entertaining. That goes for anyone, unless you go to like some really suburban country bumpkin place where they're like, please stop. So after that,
wait, I feel like we're getting a little to the different a side point. Let me ask you a question so we can shift back on. Okay, so this just happened with the ball's life. So now a question I'll make is jump to the next big point in time. So about how many subs do you have while this is going on?
I'm at
while this is going on.
I think I'm about to hit 2K at the time. I'm about to hit 2K subs at the time.
Okay, so you're hitting 2K subs and you're getting a lot of interactions from like the Balls Life team. Like clearly your name is in conversation sometimes. Your name is in conversations. What was the next conversation that really put you in, and like then people were like, okay, this is the guy to go to? What was that situation when people finally realized, okay, this is the guy to go to?
I think it was mainly the so after the Ball is Life East Coast beef that I had, we fast forward past that. We're not really on talking terms like that. It's like kind of like a here and there kind of thing. You fast forward, and now they finally have an East versus West Coast date set already. I think it was August 19th. They were going to play in Irvine, California. I was already doing my breakdowns and everything and such. So the Ball is Life West Coast squad, I DM and I say, bro, y'all are going to win. Y'all are going to kill him, bro. It's so easy. Later on that night, Ball is Life West Coast screenshots our DMs, posts it for the East Coast squad to see, and then they say, is this your boy?
Yeah. I was like, y'all some thieves for that. Oh, that's wild. That's some junk I would do. They are intimidating. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, you definitely played devil's advocate, dog. You definitely was in there. They hold you.
It was fun. It was kind of fun though. It was kind of fun to be a part of it, because like when he posted that, I was like, wow, crazy. So, they're still doing like their little like beef, the East Coast versus West Coast beef. You know, it was fabricated. They didn't actually not like each other. Like it was just to make the game more interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing my breakdowns, and I'm trying to jump into their lives. So I'm in the West Coast live right now. The guy who runs the West Coast, I think his name is like Kip or something. So he's in a chat with GOYs at the time, and like he's got about like 80 to almost 100 people in there. So then I send a request in, and then I know I'm going to get my request accepted, because he says, all right, I need to add somebody in here. And then he asked GOYs, you know who Chris with the wrist is? And GOYs was like, no. So then I joined. Gio like,
do you think he really didn't know what it was? Because some people find it funny. Like some people, it's kind of a weird feeling. When someone's like, you know who this is? No. It's kind of a cool feeling. Do you think he low-key knew who you was?
Oh yeah, he knew who I was.
The Ball is Life, he has to be seeing something.
Yeah, he knew who I was, because when the conversation started, I was like, what's up, Gio? He was like, what's up? And then like he kind of like felt awkward, and then he just dipped out of nowhere off the live. So I was like, because I went through a period of time where I was kind of roasting Gio on my YouTube, because I was like, apparently they're not using GOYs for clout. And then I put the little Zeus and Belu meme where it's like, stop the cap, and then they started laughing. So I feel like he knew who I was. So he dipped off, and then me and the guy who runs the West Coast page, we're kind of like talking back and forth. I was on the West Coast side. I was like, the West Coast is gonna completely destroy the East Coast. So we were kind of like, going back and forth on like, our breakdowns, but he was mainly asking me questions on like, hey, what do you think? Why do you think that? What player can match up with this player to give it the best opportunity for them? And, I was going through like that whole spiel and everything. Bionic Brooks was there present, and like he was like listening in. Dwight Iverson actually came into the live and like threw in his 2 cents. But Austin Mills on the East Coast squad joins, And he's like, yo, like Austin tries to rebuttal everything that I say. I think Austin is actually a kind of a hater a little bit. Only because I feel like he doesn't really like my opinion or my breakdowns, because like he may think that I'm hating on him, which I'm not. I'm just being realistic. So he tries to be like, well, let me offer this as a rebuttal. Like, no, you can't do that.
Like, he's about your height.
How is he?
He's not that tall. I went to one of the no, was it the Slum? I think Slum Reaper came. He had like a mohawk and had like a piece dyed. I don't know who that is. Was that him?
That's Slim.
Yeah. So I went there. Hey, that bro, he is like that. I don't know if he's like that, but he got bounced and he's tall. Low key, the people on that Paul's Life team, I don't want to say they're not good. Oh, let me put this disclaimer. They're dog me and you.
Yeah.
They're dog me and you, so now I feel like I can say whatever I want. Okay. I don't. They go to parks and it's like they just look like they should be in the league, dog, compared to everybody else.
Well, obviously, yeah.
They look like they should be in the league, bro. So the Slim Reaper has bounce. Like I think that man caught like an alley one meal. And for some reason, I'm looking. It seems like the runs when they come to Jacksonville, it always seems like people enjoy coming to Jacksonville for some reason.
Who enjoys coming to Jacksonville?
I don't know. They were at Huffman Park, bro. Recently, so when D Freaker first came to Jacksonville, one of my guys was because there's this guy named Sebastian that D Freaker knew, and they were talking when D Freaker had like 2,000 subs, so they've always been in contact and shit like that. And so D Freaker was like, Sebastian, don't you live in Jacksonville? And he was like, are you asking me? And then at the time, D Freaker had like 300K, so it was like, what? This is weird. And so he was like, what's the best park to go to in Jacksonville? Because people are telling me it's Bruce Park. If you know about Bruce Park, bro, definitely you get shot and killed at. So D Freaker was really gonna go to Bruce Park. But then my boy Sebastian was like, no, go to Huffman. So that's why they went to Huffman, which I thought was kind of cool. But when you go to their events, bro, because I've been to Deep Freaker and Ball's Life, yo, Deep Freaker had that junk moving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but there's one man, Deep Freaker, I swear to you, is bringing more attention than the 5 people in Ball's Life squad. And it's crazy to see what he can do. No joke, I'd say at least 500 people were there when I was in Jacksonville. Wow. At least I was in the front too. Yeah, at least 500 people, bro. And then when Ball's Life came, I want to say probably 70 to 100, which is still really big. But like it was almost like everybody could be around the court. You got people on the top of the fences, dude. It is wild. And one of my boys, Deshaun, had played against D Freaker. I seen you the clip, people like, oh, that's him. So it was actually pretty cool seeing what D Freaker is doing and like the community. He is doing something crazy. But my bad, you can finish what you were saying. I just had to say that real quick.
So where was I?
You probably forgot.
What was it? We'll actually skip this dead space part where I'm thinking.
Okay, well now we can probably come back to it later. I just have a couple questions or stuff we can talk about. Okay. Have you ever been to a Ball's Life or D Freaker event?
Yeah, I've been to both.
Okay, which one did you prefer?
I prefer it really depends, because like there has to be like a certain like, because I'll go there for like different reasons. Like there's no time where I go there for my own entertainment. I go there for just strictly news. So like, am I going to get better news if I go with a Baller's Life event, or am I going to get better news when I go to a D Frigga event? The thing about it is if I go to a D Frigga event, you know, and this is no disrespect towards this content, but it's always going to be like real, like same song and dance kind of thing. Like D Frigga is the hero. He brings everybody together, and you know, there's a couple crazy highlights, and then gives his little like motivational speech over like everybody, and then that's it. He goes from there, and like you can't really get that much interaction with Frigga because like he's a celebrity at this point. You people flood him, so it's like if I go to a D Frigga event, it's more like I'm just experiencing the event. If I want to get more news, I can go to a Ball's Life event. That's less people. I can interact with the guys more, get a little bit more insight, and then go from there. So like it's hard. So like as far as like for my job, I'll go to a Ball's Life event to get more information, because it's going to be harder for me to get more information out of the Frigga event because there's just so massive crowds in there. It's going to be hard.
I do get what you mean when you say that, but okay. Let me try to ask this question instead. No, you're not gonna answer this. You're not gonna answer this question if I ask it. He's not gonna answer the question.
Ask the question anyways. I'm interested to see what it is.
Did you enjoy any of the Balls Life runs they were doing? Did you
Enjoying
enjoy
them.
like? Were there some you were like, bro, this is just trash, and like it almost seemed like I don't want to say fake. It was like you could just leave.
Yeah, there's been plenty. There was a run at Sadie Park. There was damn near almost nobody there. I think it was like a rotation of like the same people playing over and over. And I tried to make it as like entertaining as possible because I went there specifically to go do stats. And I made a video called Balls Life East Coast Stats. It was like my thumbnail is like a picture of like Slim dunking the basketball and me going like, hey. So that's why I went there. I brought a scoreboard out and everything. I was trying to make it like, you know, like easier for the guys to keep score. I was going to keep stats and everything and just keep it cool. There was damn near nobody there. So it was kind of like, you guys are just playing like a combination of like the same people, but like them mixed up on like different teams together. You know what I mean? So it was like, that's an event I could say it was like, it was damn near mid to trash. And like they can sit there and justify like, hey, like, no, it wasn't because, you know, we're involving the community. Dude, that wasn't your best run. You know it wasn't. So like the Sadie Park run, I think the first Sadie Park run, because I think they went there again, where I wasn't present in, so I can't really determine if that was a good run or not. I think another run would be there was one run where it was Devontae and Nick Briz, and they were still on the East Coast squad at the time. They did a run in Claremont. They were in a gym. It was the same gym that the East Coast squad just dropped a video on, where they teamed up with Ty Glover as the guest. Before that, though, it was still Devontae and Nick Briz on the East Coast squad together. They ran against a bunch of trainers, and they got dogged by the trainers. That squad.
I'm not putting that out.
Yeah, no, they lost by like 20, 25. Like that game was not close. And it didn't go up either. It didn't go up either.
I'm not putting that out. I'm not putting that out. Okay.
Yeah. They're like, they lost by 20, 25 to like guys that, bro, when I saw those trainers and stuff like that, I was like, bro, these guys could dog them. It either they were having an off day or like the trainers just, you know, outworked them. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. So that's kind of what happened. And that video never ended up going out. And I was like, I wonder why. Maybe it's because they lost by 25 and it was their second. Technically, that would have been their second run. So it was like, if they showed, you know, their first run where they went flawless, why the hell would you show a second run where you lose by 25? People are going to be like, y'all are kind of trash.
I mean, I can understand, and that makes sense. So I think we kind of talked about this, me and you personally, the other day. How we see basketball is coming back. You see the little shorts are coming back. Do you think we're just in a rotation right now of the old school and the new school? But like, I feel like we're really in a rotation right now. Like me and you, Andre, talked about it the other day. Like, think about it. If like 15 years from now, we're gonna have kids. And I promise you, they are going to be rocking big shorts.
I really hope not. But...
And we're going to be rocking little shorts. And now they're going to call us the weird Larry Bird, Magic Johnson people who rock the little booty shorts, while they have the big old jeans and, you know, the jean shorts that touch the ankles. I feel like the shorts are going to come back.
Like the TJ Ford pick from Media Day in 2002 with the big jersey on the big shorts.
That's going to make a comeback. And we're doing it right now with the fashion, right? Like people are wearing stuff that people in the 80s really wore, and now they really thinking they started this trend. I'm like, nah, dude, you guys just have social media to put it on blast. Like, my sister got a pair of Doc Martens, and my uncle was like, are those Doc Martens? She was like, yeah, they're new. My uncle was like, yo, we had those in the 80s. What you talking about? We had those. So that's when I realized, I was like, fashion is really just making its way around, which is kind of like what's going on with park basketball. Bro, when's the last time you seen someone hoop and there's people on the fence sitting there watching? It had to be and days.
Yeah.
And I look at it right now. We have the same thing going on right now. People sitting on the fence to watch games. And then for a minute, basketball kind of died down for a little bit, and it just became like, oh, let's just run at the park. No more running at the park. So How long do you see this lasting? Because right now we're only going up. We're only going up. And D-Frigga only going up. All of them are going up so far, which I'm happy for, and I hope they keep going up. But when it plateaus, which everything does plateau eventually, what do you think they're gonna do?
Okay.
Not the people with Ball's Life. I feel like they'll just recycle them off and get new people. Because Ball's Life been around for I don't know for so long.
Yeah.
Like they're just gonna recycle people out. But what do you think about what are the people gonna do with Ball's Life? And now that they can't just hoop anymore, what are they gonna do? Like,
so here I have like I'll say here's my theory on what I think the future holds for something like that. So yeah, so we're kind of at like the prime years of like, YouTube park basketball and stuff like that. Like, the content creators that we have, Nick is what, 25, Devontae's the same age as me. And, we're kind of only like, yeah, Devontae. Yeah, you got to think like these content creators are young, so they still have plenty of time. Like, Cash Nasty's still playing basketball and he's 30. Like Zach from Too Hype is 32, 33, and he's still playing basketball. So like a lot of these people, like, we still have a lot of time for these guys to like watch hoop. So like Cam is about to turn 21. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like these guys are really young. So like they have like a whole time span of like what they could possibly do. So like let's fast forward a little further and let's say these guys have kids, they're gonna have to start a family. They're gonna like try and take the more corporate route where they're kind of like making moves but not on the court. So what I think they would do is I think like each individual person would come together and think of an organization to where they can have new creators display their talent, but on like a platform where it's like, the failed attempt that LeVar Ball did with the JBL, the Junior Basketball League. I feel like that sparked an idea that is going to be done again, but it's going to be done better in the right way. And I think that's what these content creators are taking. They're just like, the JBL was a great idea. It was just done wrong. It was executed poorly. We can take that idea that we have right now. We can make that a whole lot better. Why? Because we're more entertaining than LeVar Ball. People are going to come to us and gravitate towards us more because they know what we did for the game of basketball. All right. All content creators combined are going to have the same mindset. So I feel like they're going to execute that plan way better and actually bring that almost to like a TV network type of vibe, to where like they can branch off into like, okay, here's an all-star game, or they're going to have like a draft class. Like it's going to give people the opportunity of like, I wasn't able to play college basketball, or I only play recreational, but I feel like I can play college basketball, but I won't get any offers. What can I do? I can display my talent on this platform. That's
interesting, but I actually didn't even think of that. That didn't even go in my mind what's going. I was thinking about like, we kind of see it right now with FaZe. FaZe are adding people, and a lot of people are leaving FaZe right now. From what I've seen, I think people are leaving FaZe right now because you have people in FaZe who are vloggers, dude. I mean, FaZe don't play video games no more. They're not recording like cut comms. Like the FaZe is not the same FaZe it was. Like you have FaZe going out vlogging, going to parties. They're not gaming anymore. And then you have some people who vlog, and then you have some people who are on the gaming side. So that's the kind of route I thought. I'm thinking this whole basketball thing is gonna go, the whole FaZe route. I'm actually curious to what the Sidemen's gonna do because they're getting older too. I'm curious to see how they're gonna like recruit new people. Do like what are they gonna do? There are some people, some brands and stuff like that where I'm like, okay, how long is this going to last? Not that I'm praying on their downfall. I don't want to see them get down. So I want them to have like another plan just in case this was to go wrong. Because of course they probably made enough money to where like they can stop working and be fine for the rest of their life. Yeah. But I assume that no one's gonna want to be complacent and stay stagnant. I'm assuming they're gonna want to get bigger and be as big as they possibly can. So with the Ball's Life thing, it's like that's why I like Cam Wilder so much, because that man is wildly entertaining. Don't think about that too much.
I see what you did there.
He is wildly entertaining.
Wildly entertaining. That's wild.
He is wildly entertaining, and he can hoop. So I think if he gets an injury, he's gonna be just fine. bro, Slim Reaper. What if he gets injured? What is he gonna do? Ty Glover, what is he going to do if he was to get, Lord God forbid this happen, an ACL tear? Like he's just out for that long. So I think the people right now that have a platform, they need to start branching off and just trying different things. Just try different things. If you're not good at it, who cares? Who cares? Like if you're not good at it, who cares? What's the worst? What's really the worst thing that can happen? I'm just saying, what else? What else can you do? And so with your community right now, I feel like, yeah, you can kind of I think you have plenty of things you can do. Like the one that comes to mind, don't think about it, Keemstar, not this Keem.
Yeah.
The other Keem, the one with the weird beard.
40-year-old man who's a weirdo. Yeah, I got you.
Well, yeah. You saw he was dating like a 22-year-old?
Yep, we already talked about that.
Wait, so why am I compared to him?
Oh, wait, no. No,
I don't like this comparison.
Do you ever see yourself only doing park basketball? Like, you gonna branch off into like, what's something else you want to branch off into?
So like, okay, you've seen the superhero house thing, right? So like, I want to be in the realm of like, like directing and creating like my own type of like, skits and stuff like that. I want it in like a bigger production style because like my original idea for entertainment wasn't being a park basketball analyst. My original idea for entertainment was producing film. That was my first thing. I still want to do that. Hence is why like sometimes, if you look at my Instagram, you'll see trailers to like my next video or whatever. Yeah. Like occasionally I would do that. So like it would be like all cinematic. I'd have like the music playing. I'd have like the big booms and like, like a whole bunch of things like compiled together to actually make the video interesting. Because what I am very fond of when I do see movies is the trailer, because that's going to make you want to go watch it. Like, for example, the Spider-Man trailer, perfectly done trailer. What made you want to get, what really sent us over the edge to really want to go see it is when they brought back Doc Ock. 100%. Why? Because it gives that nostalgic feel. It's that last thing that we see that gives us that, oh man, I gotta go see that. So like that's kind of like what I always wanted to do for my content. I want people at the end of my content or like at the end of my teaser trailers to be like, oh man, I need to see that. Like it's kind of like the title and the thumbnail thing, like which is what you guys spoke about at one point. This is why the title and thumbnail need to be a huge focal point when somebody's doing content. Why? Because if they look at it and they see, if they see the product, they look at it, they see the title, they're like, oh man, I need to see that. Click. Doesn't matter how good it is at that point, they click on it. Mm-hmm. That's money. Yeah. So that's how I see it, and that's how it goes for me. For the side of like people gravitating towards my content, how am I going to like get retention? How am I going to up my retention rate? That's that's kind of like my route towards it. So like as far as like my content and what I'm going to branch out to, I'm going to branch out into like producing film.
Do you actually want to be in the films, or would you much rather get people to do it for you?
Oh, I'll 100% be in a film. I'm no way, shape, or form afraid of like getting on the camera and actually being a part of it. I mean, you saw how stupid I looked in Superhero House. I was still able to be that way the entire duration. Okay. Like, yeah, and I wrote the entire story and I directed the whole thing and edited it. So it's like, if I'm already like kind of like in the realm of like doing those types of things, the more knowledge I gain from it and the more I try to like teach myself until I get somebody to teach it for me. When I get somebody to teach it for me, that's when I'll have money. So when I get to that point, like for now, I'm kind of just like, self-teaching myself. It's like it, it's like really weird. It's the thing about it is we never left school. It's just we're learning in a different system. So like life is basically like a different type of school. You're going to go through different variations of school. One, you're going to go into like a systematic type of school, where it's just like you have to follow a system. You have to go to school from this time to this time, and you have to follow instructions from this person to this person throughout the course of the day. Now, when you actually like start your own life and you're away from that systematic version of a school, it's like you're your own school. You're your own teacher. You're going to, you determine whether you should show up to class and actually focus on your skill and how good you're going to excel at that. You determine the type of grade, AKA outcome of how good you're going to be at that.
Okay.
So like,
hey, I'm second year in at YouTube University. I'm second year in.
yep.
Still a freshman at YouTube University. Yo. You still a freshman. You might even got enrolled in the class yet.
What is this?
You ain't buddy. You got enrolled in YouTube University, dude.
Okay.
Everything I edit, bro. YouTube University taught me everything I know so far. They got us this far.
Fair enough.
Anything you like to ask us? We didn't ask you. We didn't ask you anything.
Oh, okay. So like, well, how did you guys start? So y'all found out my origin story. So what's the origin story behind you guys?
God, what was it? When did we start this thing?
We started May 31st.
May 31st. I had just come back from school. I was in school for up in Indiana. I did a semester, decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I came back, and we just decided we were
All right, no, because you skipped over stuff. I knew he was gonna do this.
What I skip over?
He came back and he was contemplating going to trade school and Air Force.
No one said the Air Force. You always bring up the I was not going to the Air Force. But like considering trade school, yes.
When we were in that kitchen,
yeah.
Did you say Air Force?
No.
I'm just lying now?
Yes, you're lying.
Oh.
See, all right.
Okay, he was in consideration, and I wasn't trying to like tell him don't go, but I was kind of telling him don't go. How you tell your friend, hey, don't go get a life that you know for a fact you can go live. Let's take a risk and either we'll be in a dumpster or we'll be at the parents' crib. I don't know how I was able to convince you to do that. I can't get you to do anything.
Well, because I've always wanted to be like I wanted to be like a radio or podcast personality. So I thought this would be a good opportunity, like, give it a try. If it didn't work out, then it's fine. But I think it's going pretty well so far. So I mean,
much further than that stupid degree you got.
Okay, well, yeah, I was doing radio stuff for a little bit, but nobody was actually listening to that kind of stuff anyway. So we decided to do this. It also has to do with we were bored.
Oh yeah.
We were bored, so I had something to do with it also. But
yeah, I was actually doing YouTube. I was a basketball YouTuber too. I used to bring my camera to the courts.
Yep.
All them videos private.
Definitely.
Them never getting out. Even though we had to go to 7, that's never getting out. Ever. Actually, I might send one to you. But no, I was doing that, and it was like I knew it was hilariously funny. So I was trying to find like my niche. I was like, okay, how can I display to people I'm funny? So I was like, I'm a hoop. They're only watching me. They're not hearing me. So I was like, this ain't gonna work unless I'm mic'd up. And if I'm mic'd, I didn't want to do all that. I'm too busy to hoop anyway. I don't want to do that. So my biggest thing was trying to find ways to display like how funny I am. Because I can't do it because reactions are drowned out. Blogs are no one's gonna watch a vlog unless they know who you are, right? Like who's gonna watch me and you go to the store?
No one.
They're not gonna know who we are. That's the most boring thing you could possibly do. I think we low-key took the hardest route in the podcast, where people actually who don't know us, sit down and listen to us talk. Which I'm like, this might be the hardest thing to grow. Now that we're doing it, because virtually like the same thing every time, just with a different conversation. At least a reaction video, you have something pulling you in, like, oh, they're reacting to the new Spider-Man trailer. This could be hilarious how they react to it. Who is gonna go on YouTube and click a 40-minute video?
Not a lot of people.
It's so tough. So I'm surprised we even got this far.
Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't make sense to like start a podcast when no one knows who you are. At least like most people get a platform then start a podcast, because then they at least have prior fan base coming in beforehand and stuff like that. But I figured like actually, I think we're funny enough to where like people can come in for like even a minute and be like, all right, I want to stay here and watch this. That was my thinking, because I think for a lot of things you gotta have a lot of confidence in yourself. Because nowadays, for some reason, whenever you're confident in yourself, it's just being misconstrued as, oh, he's a narcissistic or he's so full of himself. But it's like, no, you gotta believe in yourself at some kind of level. And it's gonna sound crazy, but you really do gotta believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, other people won't even believe in you. Like, so I think it's really like a shot in the dark with what we're doing. But right now we're trying to branch off into other things. Like we just started our channel.
Yep.
The player.
The analyst and the casual.
And that's for your interpretation to figure out who's the casual.
Who's the casual?
It's you.
It's not.
Look, when we drop that first episode, people are gonna be like, okay, he's the casual.
Favorite player is Kelly Oubre.
Andy Book.
Favorite player is Kelly Oubre, though.
Do I not talk about Jamal Murray, DeJounte Murray?
Bro, your favorite player is Kelly Oubre. And that's where you always
Watch how he play. Have you seen him play?
I've seen him play, and he shot 31% from the 3-point line last year.
I probably
He's been
saw,
over it.
I saw every Phoenix game. I saw every Phoenix
Okay,
game.
okay.
Did you not see how Debo was working?
Bro, I saw how Debo was working, but everybody was also injured, to be fair.
What that got to do with him?
Nothing.
You can't talk about him.
But all I'm saying is that Sunday making out the first round next year, or this year. But yeah.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. But yeah, it was big. It was like, how did you find your niche? Like, how did you find out? What are you still trying to look for? Like, what is something that you know for a fact it will bring out your personality to a T? Because you're doing because right now, because what you do, you really kind of can't have your own opinion because you're a news channel. Like, you really can't be like, well, I think this. Like, well, you probably can, but then it kind of become. The lines might get blurred of what's factual and what's your opinion. I do feel like you have to keep it to like straightforward to the fact all the time. So, have you found a way to incorporate your personality into your stuff?
I think building that. I think like with this niche is like I'm kind of like building that in a way to where I can actually do that. So what I wanted to do in the beginning while I was doing this niche is be a credible source. So hence is why I have the book of facts. So in order for me to actually be a credible source, I have to state things that are actually factual. I shouldn't state my own opinion yet. So that way when people see that my word weighs a lot and people are gravitating towards that to actually find out factual information, then once I have that crowd around me, once I have that type of like, power, then I can put my opinion out and that way people can actually understand and listen. Because like, if you think about it like this, Flight completely delusional in the game of basketball, but somehow, some way, since he has that type of power, people are like, that's big percentage of people are going to agree to it for some reason. Why? Because they've went to Flight, they love Flight's character. So like, just Flight having that type of like vibe to give to people are going to listen to him and be like, you know what, Flight, I see the point of view that you're coming from. I kind of agree. It could be the most delusional thing that he says. It could be so off the wall and doesn't make sense, but somehow, some way, Flight has that power to actually persuade people to even somewhat agree with what he's saying. So I think that's what I have to do.
I do get that. Like, Flight really does play personality, but I'm not even a fan of Flight. I personally don't find Flight funny. I don't know why. It's just not me.
Yeah.
I actually want like a lot of these people with platforms to be able to pivot to something else, not just rely on their platform, because I really don't want to see them fall off. Like, who are they talking? I think I was talking to Coach about this. You know what that is. Like, bro, GeoWise has like 1 million, and like he's not entertaining. If you saw one of his videos, bro, this Nick Briz literally had to talk for him in his own video because he couldn't. He wasn't good on camera.
Jeez.
I was like, are you this shaky on camera that you can't announce what you're doing? I was like, bro, like this is your channel. Why is Nick like tell him what we're doing? Tell him what we're doing. Like it was like, bro, like there's no way you have this big of a platform and you're out here fumbling the bag, bro. Like that. I'm just like, yo, like. Figure out what you're good at. Don't go, because right now he is going off the deep end. Hand tattoos. I don't know. I know a lot of brands that don't even want to work with people who have too many tattoos, and then it comes off as an image and stuff like that. Like I know one time, Agent Zero, he posted a picture of his guns, and people were telling him like, "Yo, brands don't like this. Don't be posting this." So it's like people really do have an image. Like imagine I come on this podcast with no hat.
Oh my God, the hat.
They're gonna be mad confused. I'm gonna be confused too. It's a look. It's a look.
Uh-huh.
And Gio Wires for a little minute went on his little taste stuff and tattoos. Oh yeah, I spent $3,000 on his Birkin. Like what?
Who's Gio Wires again? Oh yeah, that's okay.
That guy right there. But we're getting towards the end of this podcast because he sadly do have to go. So I don't know if you watched this long, but there are usually some questions we like to
just like a standard question we like to ask every guest we have on. The first question is who's your GOAT in terms of basketball?
My GOAT in terms of basketball. So is it creators only, or is it just in the entire realm of basketball, whether it's a creator or player?
Both. A creator and a player.
So as far as creator, we're gonna go Devontae because he's a pioneer for a lot of things part basketball. And like, to be honest, I think without Devontae, that like street ball content creating wouldn't be able to be set up for longevity if it wasn't for him doing certain things in the community. So that's my content creator go. As far as like my basketball go, as far as like an actual professional player, it had to be Derrick Rose because I didn't know nothing about basketball. I didn't. Hold on. The reason why I say Derrick Rose is off of his story, not the way not his play style, not nothing. It's just like how his story was going through adversity, still trying to at least like pursue his dream because of how much he loved the game. All right. A lot of people are going to say LeBron James. A lot of people are going to say MJ, which, are way better stories to like go through and see why that person is the GOAT to them. But for me, it would be Derrick Rose because it's like in certain situations, I do relate to them in a way. So if you can look at somebody's story and relate to them, you can gravitate towards them to like have a stronger connection with. So it's just like a more closer bond. Not saying that me and D Rose like hit it up every night on FaceTime and be like, yo, like you're so good. But yeah, him just going through like all the adversity and stuff like that and like always trying to get back up and continue to keep going. Like that's something that like I look at, I'm just like, man, you're the GOAT for still like, keeping yourself sane and still trying to continue a career.
We're I don't know how to put this into words. Derrick Rose is
he has an incredible story.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right.
It's just that we, as people, see if I say the wrong thing, we getting canceled.
That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna be on my head. But I don't.
You really let's just end it off by this. D Rose had a good story.
Yes.
I like his 50-point game.
Totally.
And he, among a lot of players in that 2011 season, were really good.
Very good. Yeah.
Okay, next question before we get
yep. One thing about D Rose. Ooh, that was close. We're like on the line there.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to know this off camera, like what your feelings are. I won't feel any type of way. Like,
okay.
I won't feel any type of way.
So let's say it's a hot day, right? You go outside, right? You go to the cooler. Ain't no Gatorades, no water, just Capri Suns.
Mm-hmm.
How you drinking it? Not when I talking about you put it in, you suck it. We're not talking about none of that.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't know if you wanted me to do like the motion or like I didn't.
No. How you drinking? Like you
the question is, I, as a person, and most of the rest of the world feels you drink a Capri Sun in one sitting. It's not one of those things where you can like put it down, you come back to it when you come back to it. Like a can of soda or like a tea or something. It's like you drink it in one sitting. He thinks for some reason that you can drink it in a timely manner, as in like it's like it's some big cup of beer you got going on, a mug of beer or something. It's very weird.
It's a beverage.
It's a beverage, but it's a beverage you just get it done.
So it's not like a. You down a Capri Sun, you put it down and save it for later, like a second later.
Not even a second later, because I've seen you put down a Capri Sun for 20 minutes.
I suck every now and then.
All right.
I suck every now and then. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
How you drink a Capri Sun? You put it down for a second and pick back up? Or?
No, I think if you're the type to have your Capri Sun sit out and you haven't finished it in that one sitting, then there's a hygiene problem. I feel like Capri Suns have an expiration date of like 5 minutes after you stab into it.
2-0.
I'm telling you.
2-0. We 2-0. That's all I got. We 2-0.
It was crazy because he didn't first notice it until like a year or two ago when we had a Capri Sun, and like he done went through 3, and I was on my first one. And he was like, "Are you still on the first one?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm drinking it. I'm still drinking it." He's like, "What?"
Yeah.
No.
This also kind of the same guy though. It's weird because he also cannot walk and drink at the same time. He can't do it.
Can't walk and drink at the same time.
Like I remember one time, I can't remember where we were. We were walking around, and he had a drink in his hand. And every time he took a sip, I noticed he'd stop walking. I'm like, what's he doing? I'm like, what's going on? He said he can't walk and drink. I'm like, how is that?
I have a friend who can't swallow pills. What are we talking about?
A lot of people can't do that.
A lot of people can't drink and walk.
No, who are these people? I'd like to meet them.
I like to meet the people too.
Because they do not.
No, there's people that can't chew gum and walk too.
They might be.
Yeah, that's too far.
All right.
Oh, wow.
All right. Now this is the last question we're gonna ask you, but it might snowball. I sit on this podcast for 34 episodes, and I've had to sit here and expose myself while he lies.
This is unbelievable. I'm really not even that much of a liar, as he makes it out to be.
What's the go-to move to get a girl? Because you're 23. You a virgin?
No.
So you're 23 years old.
Slide forward.
How you pulling a girl? You got your own place. How you pulling a girl?
How am I pulling a girl? Okay,
like
put me in a situation and like, because like I can pull out different variations, like because this ain't my first rodeo. So it's like, do you want me to use the whole go on Tinder and like see what I can get with?
You walk into Starbucks and she's single and you want to holler at her. What you doing?
Okay, so my preference is Spanish women, so I'm gonna picture her as a Spanish woman. So it's like you kind of gotta like dissect the energy. So like if you can't dissect the energy that this person has or what this person could possibly have, you're gonna overthink the words that you're gonna say, and then it's gonna come out wrong. Or like it's the old saying goes, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. All right. And like what girls want to know is like, how are you gonna say these things? I've heard this before, but hearing it from you, how are you gonna make it different? Like girls can take hearing beautiful differently from multiple guys. So it's like I'd be like, oh, okay, you're beautiful. If they hear it from me, they're gonna be like, I don't like it coming from you. So I like it coming from a tall, light-skinned dude who looks like Kelly Oubre. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for somebody like me, it has to come with a different approach. I have to play my game completely different from somebody else. So if I'm going to play my game completely different from somebody else, say if I'm talking to like a dime piece or whatever, I have to come out with not just any regular schmegler, like, hey, how you doing kind of thing. It's more like I have to notice what it is that, you know, she likes. If I can see what piques her interest off of why she's there, you know, is she going to sit down? So let's say if she sits down, she's scrolling through Instagram and she's looking at a certain thing that piques her interest. If I have knowledge of what piques her interest, that's parts of a conversation, then it snowballs into me getting to know her more. So that's how a person like me would approach it, rather than a guy who's, you know, got more looks than me, and he can just do the whole regular schmegler kind of game where it's just like, hey, how you doing? I think you're beautiful. Let me take you out.
Okay. So let's say, I'm in college right now. So let's say I'm walking on campus and she looks fine. What am I supposed to do? And she's in my league. Like me and her, like her looks are not too far away from mine, so we're in the same ballpark. So what should I do? Like we're walking next to each other. I don't know nothing about her. Her phone's off. She has no AirPods in. That's a little weird. She has AirPods in. What am I doing? Like, what do I do to get her?
I think it's more like, okay, so with you trying to like go up to a girl and like you don't know nothing about, it's like you have to think of like what it is you're gonna say to actually like make the conversation have longevity for it. Because like if you're going to ask a certain question, or if you're going to say something to her that can be said and done in one word, then you've already messed that up. You got to give her something to where it's like, you know, she's going to continue a sentence that can snowball into another sentence that turns into a topic to where you shoot the shot into actually doing something later. So like that's how you're going to have to approach it. So it's like once you think of a way that you can make her continue the conversation herself to where you can catch a certain point of her sentence to actually start a whole nother one, and then you could start to understand what piques her interest. Again, it all goes back to like seeing what piques her interest and like making her gravitate towards you because you have the same interest as well.
When's the last time you tried this?
The last time I tried this, I was around the downtown Tampa area.
When was this?
This was 2 weeks ago. It was
You came over yet?
Yeah. Huh?
She came over yet?
She came over the next day.
Let's go home. 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 You want to shout her out real quick?
No, I ain't CG3. He pull out the government name.
Woo! He knows about CG3, boy.
Oh yeah.
I want to have CG3 on here, but I probably wouldn't be able to get a word in.
You want to get a word in?
You listen to the dang.
I sure did. Whoa. I don't even get me started on it. Don't even.
He's a whole different topic in himself. Like, that man is wild.
Yeah, I know it's bad when he has to be the reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm fine. We have one more question. So the girl that came over, came over the next day. Let's say she hit you back up. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. She can't sleep. You falling asleep on the phone with her?
No.
Why not?
That's just real.
Hey,
why not?
like, because you gotta think about it.
She put that voice on you.
Like, if you're gonna sit there and put you can put the voice on me and stuff like that, but the thing about it is like with this, what girls want to do is like they want the man to in some way, shape, or form provide a service for them. You know what I'm saying? So what the girls are trying to do at that point is trying to put you at like their Achilles heel. Well, if he sits here on the phone and he talks to me, then, he's providing a service for me. If he does that little bit of a service for me, then I can make it snowball into him doing a bigger service for me. Maybe if he falls on the phone with me, then he'll be willing to pay for my dinner. Then he'll be willing to buy me.
My nigga ain't no simp.
But just in case if you do get stuck in a situation like this, I got a little tip. Works every time, okay? Say you're on the phone with this girl, right? You don't want to be on the phone. You want to use your phone. You guys are falling asleep on the phone. I don't know how you got there because obviously you wouldn't put yourself in a position like that. But just in case if you did, go up, you put your phone on airplane mode, call disconnects. Oh, shoot, my Wi-Fi's out. Sorry about that. I'll call you back later. Works every time. Never fails.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, I don't think the little noise happens whenever it hangs up.
Yep. Free to go.
I said, and then it's like they call back. It's never gonna ring because it really seems like, oh, the Wi-Fi really went off, so it's not even gonna ring. Just putting y'all on a slight game. But thanks for joining the Centerfold today, man. We're glad having you.
Yep.
Anybody like to shout out? What's her name? His name? Her name? I'm just saying, anybody you want to shout out a specific name, specific person, gender?
Shout out to Jay, 1v1 Hoops. Make sure y'all tune in to the podcast. Hey, shout out to the girl that came over the next day. That ass is fat.
You want to name drop her real quick?
Oh my God, I'll send it in the group chat.
My bad. I'm trying to see if anyone you want to shout out. All right. Thank you. That's all we have. So thank you, podcast people, for listening to this, I guess. Send us home.
I'm Andres Maneth. This was
Team Features.
This was Chris with the Wrist. Join us next time for another installment in the Centerfold Podcast. I'm Huey Lewis, and that was the news.
I'm editing it all.
Bro,
that
don't
last
just
part out.
leave it in. Just leave it in.